Знает ли Стивен Мусю? I think you understand that question well.
Yes, I do. Yes, she's the closest thing I have to a daughter. She's just a really awesome cat. Anyone who would meet her would know that she's friendly, she's affectionate, she's tender, she's sweet, and she has a really fun personality. I don't know how you couldn't like Musia.
Вы скорее полиглот, освоили языки, будучи подростком, или мультиязычный человек?
It's a bit of both. Might depend on the language. If I've been around a language, it's easier for me just to pick it up, hear it, reproduce it. But if I don't have a lot of access to a language I want to learn, then I actually have to put in study to it if I can't find a native speaker to listen to converse with.
Okay, then since we on this, I know there will be more questions about Russian and Ukrainian, we will get to them. But can you tell me your most favorite language to learn and which language you tried but it would not stick on you at all?
Favorite. I can't say just one favorite. I'd have to break that down into categories. French is my favorite because of a sense of loyalty, because it's a language spoken by roughly a third of my family. I have a lot of languages that I'm fond of, though. I've always loved Russian. Before I met you, I loved Russian. I used to describe 3 languages as having close personal relationships to me. English, I would say, was my father. It was the language to which I owed the most respect and the greatest amount of duty. French, I describe as my mother. It's the one that's near and dear to my heart. I can't imagine my life without speaking French, honestly. But I always described Russian from the time I was probably in middle school as my lover, if you will, because it was the language I didn't have a close relation to, no real personal attachment, but I loved it. It fascinated me. I wanted to learn and speak Russian. I was absolutely smitten with it. The alphabet, the sound, it was charming. And I fell in love with it. The only language I tried and had an actual aversion to was Japanese. I took it I signed up for a semester in college. I didn't even last a semester, maybe 3 or 4 days. Maybe it was the professor. She was a very difficult person to get along with. But I remember just my mind is hardwired toward a certain set of grammar, which usually works better with European languages. And Japanese was so far beyond anything I understood, beyond anything I had ever studied. And it wasn't so much that it was difficult, it's just that I felt like my mind didn't like it. And there was too much bowing. We actually had to bow in class to the teacher, to each other, and that got old very quickly.
So you didn't like bowel movement? Вопрос от Татьяны вдогонку. Стивен, читал или читаешь ли книги на русском?
In Russian, no, not yet. I haven't ventured that far. I do have books that are written in Russian. And I can read a good percentage of them. My reading comprehension is fairly good. But I've never sat down and actually tried to conquer one at this point. I do have a copy of Master and Margarita in Russian, which your mom gave me, and I'm determined to read that through, cover to cover at some point. However, I have read a lot of Russian literature translated into English, and I like Russian literature. Master and Margarita is one of my favorite books ever. Oh, gosh, there's so many. Anna Karenina, Tolstoy. I'm also determined to read War and Peace at some point. I know.
God help you.
I know, but I want to read the classics. I've read poetry by Pushkin, again translated into English. The only one I haven't been able to get through is it Dostoevsky's Demons? Jesse?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still on the 5th or 6th chapter. I try to read it, and it's he's so verbose and wordy, and I want to like it. I try to discipline myself and say, this is serious Russian literature. I need to respect it and read it, and I just can't get there.
Охарактеризуйте, пожалуйста, Твистера тремя словами. Красивый, худой не подходит. Можно и положительными, и отрицательными, но только описание характера.
If you're asking for things that I see...
Yeah, definitely, that you see.
Oh, well...
Because they see me differently
they do.
than what you see.
and I've seen the difference too. There is this side of you, Tvistер, you know, and you are that.
Oh, yeah,
That's very much the public you, I would say. But there's a private you, the you that I see.
Yep.
And it is different. I'm honored, in fact, that you reveal that part of yourself to me. And I think there's some things about you that only I really know and understand. Let's see, 3 words. Affectionate. You are one of the most affectionate people I know. Mm-hmm. On the surface, you know, the public you, a lot of people might see your hard exterior, the business you, the professional you, the grumpy you, but that's the you have to show to deal with people. Mm-hmm. I see a side of you that is tender, affectionate, loving, almost childlike, in the sense that when you're with me, you can just drop your defenses. And instead of always being the strong one, you allow yourself to be the weak one sometimes. And you just let me love you. And I love that about you, because that's how I know I'm doing something right, that you actually can let your inner you, little Vovechka, out around me. Thoughtful. You are incredibly thoughtful to everybody's needs, not just your own. You are the one person I can always rely on. If someone needs anything, you've got it covered. You remember things that I need to do that I've forgotten. You know, God help me if I didn't have you there to say, Stephen, you need to do this, and don't forget you have to do that. And I see it with the kids, and you're so, I don't know how you retain all of that in your head, up on top of the responsibilities you have at work and everything.
That's called control freak.
Well,
because that's the dark side of this as well. So I'm thoughtful, but also like, oh my gosh, did we do this or did we that, and I have this whole to-do list in my head.
I wouldn't describe it as a dark side, though. Maybe in your work environment or something it comes out that way, but with your nearest and dearest, with your loved ones, it's a genuine concern. You genuinely want the best for us. Our well-being matters to us. Our happiness matters to you. I've never seen someone that attentive and thoughtful toward the people in his life. Not a man, anyway. My mom is the only other person I can think of who's like that. But as far as men, my dad, God bless him, I love him, but he was pretty distant and really didn't seem to care a lot or get involved with his family. My brother is much more caring and affectionate with his family, but he's so busy. It's like his work life separates him from his family life, but you maintain a balance. In fact, you prioritize your family over the work and the school and everything, and it blows my mind how strong you are, because you have so many responsibilities, and yet you still prioritize your family. And I admire that about you. It makes you one of the best human beings I know. And just the fact that you remember little sweet things about each of us, the things we like, the things we want. You see something and you're like, oh, you'd like that. Or you surprise us with little things you know we enjoy.
But I think you talk right now more about yourself, because that can be like my mom noticed in you this part more than even in me. So.
But you do that for me. I think you're being too modest. But maybe.
Кукушка хвалит петуха за то, что хвалит тот кукушку.
I'm willing to concede maybe I'm the one who brings that out in you more.
Okay, let's agree on this part. Otherwise, it will be.
But
like,
it is there. You just need the right
Yeah.
people. And
Yeah, I agree.
I see the kids.
Yeah.
It comes out with the kids a lot. So I think it's just a question of who brings that side out of you.
Okay, then give me the third word, just some negative side of me, because it doesn't want this to be overly sweet and people will have the sugar diabetes.
Too saccharine.
Yes, it will be like, they're fake news. Turn it off. We don't believe in them. There is no such a holy man as a Twister. Or if he is, we need to kidnap him. And
Okay, you want me to be brutally
yes,
honest?
Yes, please.
I will be honest.
Yes, he will be honest.
You can be a stubborn son of a bitch.
Oh, yes, I can.
And when you put your mind to something, there is no changing it. It's like a dog with a bone. You grab it, you will not let it go. No one can change your mind. People can beg and plead with you. You think you're right. Damn it. That's the only answer.
Yes, Sam.
Yasam, yeah, exactly. And however, sometimes there are situations where that can actually be a good thing. You know, you have someone who's too wishy-washy, they can easily be manipulated. You know what you want, you go for it. But dang, sometimes you are just like a mule who won't stand up.
Nope.
You know, it's like, come on, you're like, you know. And I won't lie, sometimes it can be really challenging, but
in those moments, think about how kind I am and how thoughtful I am.
they outweigh
Okay.
any negative. Yes, definitely.
Really good. Move on.